you'll get visible after things totally calm down, right? Meanwhile, your calendar is feral like a crazy cat all over the place. Colors, you can't even remember what they are anymore. Your inbox is totally on fire. Yeah, you wish you could set fire to it. And later has been lying to you for years because you know what? The truth is, you are the best kept secret, my friend. You're busy doesn't equal visible. Hard work doesn't magically broadcast itself across the radio waves. Nope. That's why the Brew and Stew Media Spotlight exists. That's right. A collaboration between Nicole Borghi and Colleen Stubbs. One booking, two podcasts, no pitching, no chasing, no pretending you enjoy the outreach. We know you don't. Nobody does. You show up, you talk like the authority you already are. Your message gets heard on purpose to an aligned audience. Stop waiting. Stop hiding behind the busy button and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Busy, booked, exhausted. Your inbox is screaming at you like a siren. Your calendar is still feral. Still calling yourself visible and you're just the best kept secret? Turns out I was right there with you, my friend. Wasn't getting seen, was just the best kept secret. Wasn't getting heard, definitely, kind of getting paid. But here, the magic, my friend. It's a collaboration between Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi. The Voice Lab on the school platform shows you how to use podcast spotlights, summit stages, and simplified, yeah, that's right, simple outreach systems so your visibility actually works. Get seen, get heard, join the free Voice Lab on the school platform, and you're going to get it all. Because if you're working this hard, someone else should know about it. Scan the QR code today.
Welcome to a world of unforgettable experiences and immersive marketing. Transform your events into extraordinary moments that captivate your audience. Whether it's corporate gatherings, product launches, or community celebrations, our immersive marketing solutions elevate your events to new heights. Immerse your attendees in a world of audio books and podcasts tailored to your brand. Engage their senses and leave a lasting impression. Explore the power of storytelling with our curated podcast content. From insightful discussions to entertaining narratives, we've got the perfect audio experience for your event. Ready to make your next event unforgettable? Scan the QR code now and book a complimentary immersive marketing call with our experts. Let's create memories together. Elevate your events with immersive marketing. Scan the code and let the magic begin.
Let's slow this down for a moment. Money feels overwhelming because no one ever really taught you how it works. When things feel confusing, it's natural to avoid them. That doesn't mean you've failed. You don't need to know everything. You just need to take the first step. That's what the consultation call is for. It's a calm, clear conversation where we look at where you are, where you want to go, and what steps actually make sense for you to build wealth. No pressure. No jargon. You're allowed to ask questions. You're allowed to feel unsure. And you're allowed to want a future that feels safe and secure. Schedule your consultation call. It's the first step toward achieving your dreams with someone who will walk you through it, one step at a time. Wealth with Valor. Clear guidance, steady progress, real peace of mind. Scan QR code to schedule your consultation with Valerie Smith. Let's take the first step together.
All right. Welcome back. It's Thursday, the February 26th. We're just about at the end of February. Welcome back to the Voice Lab podcast. Got a few things going on, and make sure you clicked that QR code. You want to take a picture. I'll have all the links below as well. Reach out to Valerie. She really wants to help share with you the importance of wealth building, leaving a legacy, and all that good stuff, because you know what? Like Billy Carson says, woke doesn't mean broke, and that is not how you should live your life. live your life, because we are meant to be abundant beings. We are meant to go forth and share and prosper with the world. So if you want to help your neighbor or people around you, you do want to build that wealth. And so good stuff, good stuff. I don't know what, I just spilled my coffee or something on the desk. Hey, well, it's morning. And you guys also check out, we've got the Brew and Stew Media package going on. And that is about getting media spotlight for Wednesday, the Pain Point podcast. You go live. We had a great session with Jeff yesterday, shared massive tips and tricks on really how to run your LinkedIn platform, make it profitable. Monday morning business foreplay, where you get to ask the guest some Q&A in there, be participatory, do some networking, get some great information, and then we have networking, the caffeinated conversations afterwards. So it's a fast shotgun style networking on Mondays, right after Monday morning business foreplay. We've got places and faces for you that you want to know and you want to go because you want to grow, and that's what you need to do. That's what we do with the Voice Lab on the school platform. You know what? It's moving and grooving for entrepreneurs and make their life simple, set it and forget it, simplify their systems, delegate, be the leader, so you can get on the stage and what? You can speak, tell your story, share your sunshine, maybe even a little bit of grief and tell a story, but it's the way you're a storyteller that's going to move the needle and audience engagement. And if you've got your system set up in the background, you will never forget to reach out to your audience and really move the needle when you gather those leads. So what do we got going on today? I think we got some great topics here, Collie.
I think we always have great topics, but let's just go into that. Yeah, I think that, oh, that's a lot going on. And I think a lot of people, when they're getting into building things out, get overwhelmed because they think they have to do this and this and this and this and this, right? They have to do all of the things. And maybe they really want to get seen and heard. So that means getting on lots of speaking engagements, right? So they've got all these speaking engagements, and really, because you don't see the structure in your face, um, the foundation of your business, the back office, that's not shoved in your face and something that has to have like flags you as needing immediate attention. People are paying attention to getting on these events and really just kind of dropping the ball with the rest of it. When the truth is, one and done structure creates an amazing foundation. And when you put that in place, yeah, you don't have to think about, hey, did I follow up? Did I connect back with these people? Those kinds of things. And so I think that's a huge, just a huge step that is easily overlooked by so many people, right? Because it's not screaming in their face. Nobody's holding them accountable for it. If you're talking on summits or podcasts, you have people that are reaching out to you going, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Are you ready for this? You have a meeting today. And your system doesn't do that. It just sits there. And if you set it up right, it will quietly work in the background of your business and your life, which is huge. So this week we are talking hugely about becoming an authority without worrying, stressing out so much about the content, right? Like not always, we talked about it Tuesday. You don't have to go post 5 times a day on Facebook and 7 stories that do, well, let's do one that's a wake up with me, and then one that's a, this is what I'm going to do with my day. And then let's just put in one about what we did with last night, and then what about what we're going to do in our business. And then you can put one in that's a real soft sell and then close it with a hard sell, right? We're not doing that. Who does that anymore? Let's not do that. And the thing is
Too
how many
much.
people were dropping off, right? Like you go through the first 3, because what you want is a relatable experience. So you go through the first 3 stories, and then you just drop and run because you know that sale's coming, right? And so what we're talking about is how to be relatable in your content, how to use and reuse the things that you get from speaking to create content and just be able to share those. And Nicole, you're really good at that. We create clips and share clips, but also even just taking a short soundbite of a sentence. It doesn't have to be a full 60-second clip. It can be just a sentence, and taking that and putting that as text on screen, text on your graphic, and then expounding on it in your caption, right? And then also utilizing your system so that you create your content. You want to know a secret? My content's scheduled out through June. It's already scheduled out through June. Does that mean I'm not making content? No, it doesn't. But what it does is it releases the burden of having to create content daily. And so I have something that goes out every day. Now, I do need to go in and interact with that every day, but I don't have to worry about putting something out every day. Then when something comes up that I want to share, I just create a little clip of it, or I grab my camera and just get on it and talk to it and say what I need to say and share that, right? So much easier than worrying about putting out 5 posts a day or 7 stories or whatever that looks like.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because there's so much when you're doing that if you don't set it and forget it. Because if you want to get out of the house, if you want to go away, you're still dilly-dallying with stuff, and it's such a pain point. And I see um, clients do it quite frequently, and it takes time to like, hey, this is not going to move the needle in your summit, your workshop, or your event if you're trying to do everything and you're playing a little bit here and there. There's a creative part and there's a time you have to walk away, because when the scientists experiment with things, it's never in that frantic moment of the continuity of just dilly-dallying and never getting to something. That gets them frustrated so much that it's when they walk away, stop, and come back and go, oh, I've got it. And it's letting yourself walk away through that. Or you could just blow everything up in the lab. I've seen my brother do that. Blew everything up because he was trying an experiment. Hey, it didn't work. So hey, that was a self-correcting error. And but you don't need to let it explode. And there's all these people out there talking about stress and overwhelm and all this stuff, and we all go through it. But if you're constantly pushing that, nobody's happy. Nobody's doing good. Nobody, you've got to release that. And like you talk about this all the time, Colleen, being the bottleneck. And if you're trying to do everything in your workshop by yourself, if you're not even trying to get a wingman, a collaborator, or somebody to do all the tech in the background, and you're doing it all yourself, it's not going to go well because you
Yeah,
don't
so
have
let's
time to engage, right? You don't have time to be there. You're not present.
so let's talk about that a little bit, because so many people say, I can't afford the help. I can't afford hiring a VA right now. I can't afford any of this. I have to do it all myself. And that is um, a very limiting belief, because the truth of the matter is most collaborations don't cost you anything except your expertise, right? And so the idea behind a collaboration is you take somebody that's really good at one thing and somebody that's really good at something else, and you not only trade services, but you promote each other. So if you are busting your butt, getting your content out all the time, trying to grow your audience, and you are so stressed out about it, number one, that's a choice, because there's a
Mhm.
better way. And we're going to talk about a better way today. But number two, you could just double your audience by finding someone to collaborate with and sharing your expertise on that level. Nobody's going to go around and go, oh, we collaborated and she didn't pay me anything to collaborate. That's not it. Everybody knows that there's collaborations and they understand how they work, right? But if you are, let's go back to that fact that if you are stressing yourself out over content and things like that, then that's a choice you're making. And it's not a different choice than being the bottleneck in your business. When you are sitting down, you're stressed out, you're trying to create content, trying to think of it, you can't come up with it, you're spending hours a day trying to do this, that's not working well. And so the thing is to take note of the things that you're doing. Whether you have a note keeper that keeps track of your meetings, you can go back through those really quickly and highlight key points, use those as your content. But then take some time, take 3 or 4 hours and make sure that you have something scheduled out for every day for 3 months that is pertinent to your business, that is evergreen. It You need to share the pain points. You need to share the solution. You have one solution, share that one solution, and just work it up in different ways. Do that on one weekend. Just take 3 or 4 hours on one weekend, and that relieves the stress that you've chosen to dive into, because now you know you have content. And not only is it relieving the stress, but it gives you freedom. It buys you freedom to say, oh, well, this was fun, or I really like how this person said that. I want to share it with my take, but you're not under the gun to do it. And so you can totally just relax and share things that are relatable to you, that focus directly back to the pain point that you are solving and the solution you're sharing. And the idea is that make it easier for you, you know? And we talked about doing your content off of summits and doing your content off podcast. Just make a short clip. And so for anybody that doesn't know, and I think everybody knows, and I think that's a big mistake in this industry is assuming everybody knows. And so if you don't know, go check out riverside.ai. I upload my videos in there and they automatically make short clips for me. And then I go in and just select made for you and can see what they made and select if I want to use any of those, or I can create my own, right? Um, and there are other tools too. If you're not on Go High Level does have a content scheduler in it, but there's also Tailwinds. And Tailwinds is a good one. I use that for a long time. But there are different places that you can go to schedule your content. You just need to learn the tools and utilize the ones that work best for you in your industry.
Yeah, exactly. I've used Hello Woofy, and they do have Twitter for those of you who want to post on Twitter. And you can post and you can schedule. It's a very simple platform. It's just all very AI. It's very simplistic. And whatever you use, whatever you use, you've got to go in there. Facebook has a scheduler. You can schedule on LinkedIn if you want to go one by one and see how it is. Pick a platform, stay with it, and promote it. Get out there at least 3 times a week, right? 3 times a week. And I cannot say this enough, especially after looking at LinkedIn before I jumped on here. If you're going to like someone's post, make a comment. That's what moves the needle. Those little likes, that's just a vanity for you to feel good. I'm just gonna say it. It really is just a vanity. Say, I went to your page, I liked it, put it in there. It's like filling out forms. If somebody asks you a question for your social media link, because when I get on a call with you, I want to know who you are. I want to look at you. I want to get to know you. When I'm talking to you, I want something relatable. And I'll probably have that up when I'm talking to you because my background, a little bit of investigations as a manager and doing what I did. Um, I want to know you as much as I can to have some form of fashion of our conversation because it brings the relatability more than the, hey, what's the weather? That's good. You do want to have connection, but in order for me to have connection, I kind of want to read the room on who I'm talking to and what kind of conversation I'm going to have. So it just takes 5 minutes. You could just look at someone and get to know them, but that's also get to know somebody is also a way to engage. What are they sharing? If you're on LinkedIn, it's a professional website. It's meant to be for professionals and entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur and a professional, you want to know enough about somebody to gain the information, collect the data mentally, not just your AI tool, but get to know that person, their product and service, because you want to know that you can know, like, and trust them. That's social proof being out there. That's engagement being out there. And it just, I've seen a lot of it recently, and I'm kind of torn. Is it AI or just people? And I've asked a few people. I've gone in after talking to Jeff yesterday, and he said, hey, reach out to people in the DM that like your post and ask them what you liked. I talked to this lady and I asked her in the DM what she liked about my post about turning on the camera. And she gave me a wonderful comment in the DM. And I think that's great. We had a conversation in there. I would have loved to see that on LinkedIn, not only on my post, but also for her because she had such a great answer. And that way, when you comment, people will click on you and they will search you. So every time you comment on someone else's post, the people that go in to hit the like button are going to search you even more. So we're our that web that we weave is getting larger, broader, bigger, faster because we're growing connections by being connected and talking to each other. People want to see who you are. So if we're working together, people like, hey, what about Colleen? What about Nicole? Or what about this? What about the project you got going on? So they learn more about you by the people you collaborate with, and social media is a collaborative effort. And if we can move past that needle of that, it's stressful, it's bringing down the world. Is it? Are you using the tool? Maybe there's a more genius way to utilize the tool, just like AI. What are you using it for? How are you using it? Right? If you want it to pat you on the head and tell you you're wonderful, that's one thing. but has a different conversation. But are you using it maybe for certain research and then you can finalize everything into your words? Are you using AI for an outline? Are that artificial intelligence, are you using it as a tool to stand on? Same like social media. If we flip the script and start looking at it in a different way and pivot, we're going to have a healthier relationship, and we're going to move the needle in a better way and be less stressful about bringing this on because it's here. That relates to two stages, because you want the connection and you want to know where you stand in your power as a speaker. So when you get on the stage, you know how you're going to react to your clients instead of going up there and going, I hope somebody gets my free thing. I hope somebody gets, and I've been there. I hope somebody gets my free thing. I hope somebody signs up. I hope, and then you want to connect with them because they've given you the blessing of their email. And if we look at it in a different manner, that they want connection, they want you to call them or they want you to email them or they want to connect with you. And it's okay. Connect with people. I think it's huge. If we look at it differently than, oh, it's more frustration, then we need to step back and detach, because it's a powerhouse to promote people to your speaking events. You share those events online. If you want people to go there, if you want people to, it's marketing. If you want people to see, even if you're just posting that you're at the event and they maybe not attend the event or just at least sign up, then you're marketing yourself that you're the expert, and people searching you because they're watching and following you will be more supportive of how wonderful you are. And that's the blessing of utilizing these tools, I think.
Well, and I think that there's a simple framework, and I utilize it a lot. I was just trying to write it down so I could articulate it clearly. Um, I'm going to share that with you. It's let's see. All right, so let's get into it. It's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-step framework for your content. And let's just dive into it. Okay. So once you have your framework in place, that beats creating endless content and always worrying about it. Always your framework itself will build out your content. If you have your framework that number one, you have to know your story. So you have to know not only what you went through, the pain points that you went through, the solution, how you found it, what the solution was, all of the things about the solution, right? And you have to be able to teach that solution. So once you know your story, you're going to share your story that touches on your pain points. This makes you relatable. So when you say to your audience, yeah, I did this, I was at this spot and this is what happened and this is how I felt about it, this is how it affected me. And
Mm.
that's when I realized I had to do this, which is you're sharing, you're going to teach this part of the solution, what you did and why you did it that created the solution, right? So what you did and why you built it. And then number 3 is you're going to do it in a way that positions you in authority. And so there's a way that you balance the emotion that you put in with the solution. Yes, you need to bring the emotion to play. That comes when you're sharing the story that touches on the pain point part, right? When you get to solution, that's not the time for the emotion. That's the time for clarity and to situate yourself, position yourself as the authority figure, because you know, and you're teaching them what to do and why. Okay. And this is in your content, in your caption on your social media, right? On your social media post. Then you're going to schedule it and you're going to respond to it. Now, for those of you saying, no, 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 we're not going to give away the farm. No, you're not giving away the farm. What you're doing is you're providing enough value and enough insight that makes you relatable and positions you as an authority in your field. And then people can say to you, okay, but how do I do that?
Mm.
And that's where you monetize it, is in the how. And you say, and you start by jumping on a call with me and we can talk about that. And then you get into it on the call, right? But in your story, your social media content is meant to attract people. And so you have to share the story that talks about where you were and the pain points that you went through just a little bit, and then get right into the teaching, the providing the solution, teach them what the solution is that you found, and why that's a solution. And then your call to action is contact me, reach out to me, whatever that might look like. Drop this if you can relate, or whatever your regular call to action is, right? And that's positioning you in a place of authority. And then you need to schedule that content and you need to make sure you respond. And so once you have that, once you know your story inside out and how it correlates with your pain points and how it correlates with your solution, and you can draw it out on a diagram. You can draw it out on a diagram and just say, here's 5 ways that, or 5 pain points, even 3 pain points that I had from this experience, and here are the solutions. Draw those off your pain point. That's much easier to create your content then. And
Right.
once you have created your content, get it scheduled so you're not under the gun to do content every day. And then when you come across something in your day to day that solidifies your what and your why, and also positions you in a position of authority, that's when you go add that clip, that little saying or quote or whatever it is. And you can do that randomly whenever you want because you already have content scheduled consistently. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does make sense. And you want those simple steps. It's very simple. And if it seems like we're just whittling this down to the bare bones and to a toothpick, from a big branch, right? That we are. It's that simple. And finding out that it is that simple and the how to. The miraculous point is it's not as complicated as everybody makes it out to be. It's really not. And if you take care of this, you can add those instances in there where you want to go live or you want to pick up the phone and hey, I'm live here today. I'm at an event wherever, or hey, I had a thought, or hey, come, I'm doing a pop-up, meeting or a workshop or whatever, or hey, I have this article. You can add that to that little spice there and you've got it out ready to go. And that's the glory of being on the stage is you're creating so much content and it's fantastic. You can do that. You can create that content. There's all kinds of things. I used a script. You can use chip clamp. There's all kinds of stuff out there to utilize that's pretty simple, or just cut it out. I like the script because you can take out and you can actually read what it says, so you can edit it through text. So you're going like, wait, that doesn't sound good, or those extra filler words you could take out. um it's great to do that and to follow along and be like, hey, let's reach out, and that gives you time. And here's the other thing: just because you have 6 months of content doesn't mean you have to stay away from social media, nor
Mm,
should you. You still
absolutely.
need to engage 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, 30 minutes block of time. Go back and forth and say hello, make some comments. If you're having a hard time kind of picking and pointing out certain things, or you don't know how it relates to you, that's where that tool will come in when you're looking at a larger language model and you're in there, whether it's Claude or Chat or whatever. When you go into that, then it will say, hey, for my zone of genius and what I do, how can I comment on this post? And then it'll break it down into chunks for you, and you can go, oh, okay. This I'm going to reformat in my tone, my voice, my style, and take this little piece of it and go in there. And this is great. And I will say, you guys, if you're in the Voice Lab, next week, we are launching our posting parties for all levels, even into the freebie levels. We have close to 200 people in the school platform since December, and we want engagement, and it's so near and dear to our hearts that we're going to start adding that in there. So come to Voice Lab and check that out. I believe it's Thursday, but we'll have more information this next week for sure. And letting people know, come join the platform. You can get in there and you can post. We can move the needle. And if you go in there for 30 minutes and just, we're not going to, you don't have to, don't stress out. 100 something people are not going to all do it.
Oh no.
Um, but every week will be different. That gives us the ability to, one, drive further engagement and get connection, and two, support our group of people, and three, we're going to do what we say we're doing. So if we do it by training and reprogramming, we're not only talking about it, we're doing it at the same time. And that's where the Voice Lab started, is because you want to show, you want to teach, but are you teaching things that you see, hey, here's a pain point. We're talking about engagement. We're talking about social media. Here's a solution. Got it all right here, and you don't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch on two things. Number one, I want to say that when I first started trying to build out my LinkedIn, that if I saw somebody that I thought, oh, this is my ideal client, they just don't know it yet, then I would go to their profile and save it in I have a favorites folder that says engage, and I would save their profile, and then every day I would go in and engage on their content in a meaningful way to build a relationship with them so that they began knowing who I was, right? And that really is helpful. And I would do maybe 4 to 6 a week, not a big deal, but just a few like that to build it up. And then also, let's just look at the storytelling aspect. So when I say, when we're talking about doing our content, it can go from, I was at the store when watching the clock as I was closing my store down, 5:53 p.m. and the last car pulled in. I was already counting my till. I was ready to go because my daughter was waiting. She's 14 and she actually called and said, "Mom, will you take me to the game? There's a boy that wants to ride with me, but I want to go with you and talk about it first, and then I can ride home with him." And I said, "Yeah, I'll take you." Well, now I'm watching the clock and my clients pull in. So of course they come in and shop, and they're the slowest shoppers. 6 o'clock on the dot, my daughter calls, "Mom, are you coming? We need to be going. Are you coming?" And I had to tell her, "Honey, just get on the bus. I'll see you there at the game." And she was so disappointed. But then what happened is I realized I was in my own way. I was missing out on meaningful connections. I was in my own way. And so I stepped back from that business, sold that business. And before I went into another business, I made sure that I put a system in place that was automated, that did a lot of the things for me so that I was free to not miss any more minutes with my daughter, to not miss the things that actually mattered. And now I come online and I teach people how to do that. And so when you go through that and you're touching on the pain point, the situation, the story, other people can relate to missing out on their kids' lives, right? And then you go in and you say, and this is what I learned was to automate. And this is why I learned so I wouldn't miss out on moments in their life anymore. But I'm not telling them how. I'm just telling them that's what. And then we get into a call and I can discuss how and how I can help them, how I built something that helps them, right? And so it's super important to be able to integrate all of that. But then back again, like Nicole said, just because your content is scheduled doesn't mean you post and ghost on social media. You absolutely have to be in there building relationships, and just think of it as an easy way to build relationships because statistics change all the time, whether people need 7 or 17 um, touch points with you before they are willing to really get to know you. Who knows? But going into social media and commenting and liking and commenting value, right? Or maybe sharing an article like Nicole was saying that people know about. Just going in and saying, "Hey, here's this article that really pertains to what you're talking about." That positions you in authority as well. And it can be a blog post you wrote, it can be just a random article, it doesn't matter. But sharing information that's valuable with people. I do that also in my emails in different places like that. Also, sharing other entrepreneurs that have a solution. When you see a problem, say, "Hey, you should connect with Nicole." Da 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 da. Put it in there. Really just building your authority that way. And of course, the consistency. And we've already covered the consistency because you're going to go out and you're going to schedule your content. So you have that part, consistently have something every day, and then go in and consistently engage. Just make it that's your job, is to engage and build relationships if you want to build a business. The other things that happen in the background, the follow-up, the outreach, the landing pages, the workshops, all of that can happen in the background. Your day-to-day focus needs to be on building relationships and really getting out there and letting people know you. And so Tuesday, I think Tuesday is the start of our posting party. Nicole, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Tuesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm getting ready to post that up, so you guys will see that today. If you are on the Voice Lab podcast, excuse me, the Voice Lab group on the school platform, it's a very supportive group in there. It will be in there Tuesday, 9 a.m. Eastern, for the posting party. We'll have a block of an hour. So set your clocks. It's worth, you should be getting up early for your day anyway. It's worth going in there. It's worth posting. We'll have an hour where we go in and out and push that algorithm. The best is usually that first push of a half an hour. But hey, you know what? We've got other continents. We're on a global scale. We'll give some more time for people to get in there. And if you could do it every week, pick 10 people. Hey, if 200 people show up, pick 10 people. Pick something and do everybody a favor. Make sure that you're engaging in that particular conversation. A little tip, a little pro tip for the day. Make sure that your conversation, your reply has something somewhere to do with the content that you're replying on. Not nice blouse, not great hair. If they're going to be on a stage and they're linking that in there, say, hey, look at the topic, look at the talk title, look at something going on and say, hey, that, something more than that sounds interesting. Hey, if somebody's talking about, gaining visibility through influence, say, hey, yeah, I'd love to learn more about influencing my group. Or, hey, I think influence, influencing your group in a soul-led way is a great way to go. There's all kinds of fun things you could say. Be playful, or be professional. But really, that's the underlying thing. Is it's the professional reality of the situation. But remember, if you want to think about yourself and pushing the needle in your business, oh, this doesn't move the needle. It sure does, because the more you comment on someone else's page, the more people see you. And influencers will tell you that's how they did it.
That's
All kinds of
absolutely true.
influencers.
And I
Absolutely.
think too that, click the link. Click the link. You don't have to register. Click the link and go see what the event is about. Click the link and go read the newsletter. It really just takes a few minutes. And this is your job. Let's not forget that part. You're not here for a party. This is your job. This is what we do for work. And so click the link. It helps. And then you're also in a lot better position to make a really good, valuable comment. But then also don't forget to come back. So if I comment on Nicole's post, and she comes in and comments back on it, then I need to go back in and comment again. And it's always good to ask a question, because the more people engage with your comment, that's better for you as well. And so ask a good thought invoking in comment, a question, so that people will interact with it, that is pertinent, clearly. And then also, I want to say nobody's asking you to do anything that's not aligned. So don't feel like you are, I don't know, you're a farmer and you need to go into a CEO's post that runs Nike. That's not what we're saying. Find the ones that are aligned with you, that feel good with you, and go from there so that you're comfortable and you're really building alignment. And it really is a great tool to build your business when you do the things right, right? And then also don't forget that you can come back if at any time, like if the posting party is Tuesday, you can go back on Wednesday and comment on that person's stuff again on something different post. You can go back on Thursday or Friday. It's not like you only go in on Tuesday. You can, but you can also go back anytime. So there's that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Make sure you can go in. That is my alarm
We
ringing to
have
remind
some,
me of my call. And that's what you guys should be doing, is you should be setting your alarm so you're on time for your calls. And
and
then
we
you
have
can
a
pivot.
collaboration coming up in Voice Lab. It's a surprise one. So we're not going to tell you about it yet, but we do have a collaboration that we are planning with another school group, and I am excited about that. So we will, yeah, you're going to have to tune back in to get more information about that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got several collaborations coming up. We've got master classes, workshops. that we're working with other people to really give that absolute top-notch information, but people that are going to support you. This is what you get when you join the Voice Lab, and this is what we want to know more about it. We want you to show up, and we want you to align. This is an aligned clientele that's working with the Voice Lab. It's entrepreneurs over 40 doing business that want to simplify, get seen and heard, and leverage the stage as a marketing engine. Absolutely. Let's push the needle in your business. And you guys, hey, click the links for more. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and everything will be below. We see you Monday for networking, caffeinated conversations, and Monday morning business foreplay. Wednesdays for the Pain Point podcast. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.